Now that my smoggy, brutalist Minecraft base was positively brimming with all sorts of machines, the next goal to check off my list was to pay a visit to the Twilight Forest. Unfortunately, the Twilight Forest does not play well with shaders, so it's back to the default lighting system for now. In the Twilight Forest, there were 9 different bosses that I had to obliterate, the first of which was the Naga, a giant snake with an ugly face who stubbornly refused to take damage from the vast majority of my arrows. Although the fight was long, luckily the Naga snake was no match for my new armor and sword. With the fall of the Naga, I made my way to the top of this budget end city in which lived the Twilight Lich, or should I say Twilight Bitch, because this boss will do everything in its power to not fight you in a one-on-one. He summons mirror images of himself, and flat out refuses to take damage unless you deflect enough of his projectiles at him. Once his shield is down, he'll then summon a horde of recolored zombies in a futile effort to save himself. When I defeated him, he dropped a staff that summoned the same zombies, except now they were under my control. I figured it might be useful, so I put it in my bag for later. The next boss was the Minnow Shroom, a half-man, half-mushroom who lives somewhere deep in this very dark and convoluted maze. I found the Minnow Shroom after a while, but he was more skilled than I anticipated, able to attack and break through walls and dealt massive damage. But at least I had my oh wait, no, that's gone too. Luckily, the Minnow Shroom was pretty slow, so I managed to barricade the hallway and finish off the fight by bow spamming. Now that the Minnow Shroom was dead, I ate some of the meef stroganoff that it dropped and ventured deeper into the fiery swamp where I would fight the Hydra. I charged in with my bow and sword, but the Hydra took lessons from the Naga and refused to take damage most of the time, so I swapped my sword and brought out the zombie staff from the Twilight Lich. What happened next, I should not have survived. Thinking that attack was a fluke, I tried again after regenerating, only to once again be nearly one-shot by the Hydra. I had barely made a dent in the Hydra's health at this point, so I decided to come back later when I was stronger. There were 2 things that I wanted that could make me stronger: the Shadow Armor and the Fury Fire. The Shadow Armor is one of the strongest armor sets you can get at this stage of the game, stronger than Diamond and giving you a permanent 3 times movement speed boost. Unfortunately, the strength of the Shadow Armor is only matched by the tedium required to obtain it. But, now that I had the Shadow Armor, I decided to fight the King of Scorchers in the Nether, which could be summoned by crafting a weird sword with some of the drops from the purple blazes from earlier. The AI of the Scorcher King is pretty simple, so he was an easy fight, even if he did have 1100 health. His drops would allow me to craft the most deadly ranged weapon this side of the Mississippi: the Golden Fury. This weapon does 30 range damage a hit and had unlimited durability, but unfortunately it takes gold nuggets as ammo, so I would have to use it sparingly. I returned to the Twilight Forest and challenged the Hydra to a rematch. My next victim was the Alpha Yeti, who was more like a Beta Yeti since he only lasted about 5 femtoseconds and barely put a dent in my health bar. Now that the Alpha Yeti had been destroyed, it was back into the mines, where I needed to find the night phantoms in this dark underground labyrinth. I eventually found the room with the night phantoms, and when I broke into the tomb, it turned out to be a 1v7. After defeating the night phantoms, I could move further into the roofed forest, where I found the Urghast's tower. To reach the top of this tower and fight the Urghast, I would need to climb this tower that was full of traps, tricks, and puzzles. Or I could just fly right to the top. With the Golden Fury in my possession, the Urghast was ripped to shreds in seconds.
Oh! Oh! Oh my god!
Now, there were just 2 more bosses I could fight before I could leave the Twilight Forest for good. The first boss that I had to fight was the Snow Queen, who lived in this Aurora castle and sat in this bowl of impenetrable ice, which made fighting her unusually annoying, but still not very difficult. Now, there was just one more thing left to do. I quickly flew over to a floating island in the sky and slaughtered some otherwise peaceful giants who were simply residing in their home. I stole their pickaxe and dug below their house to find the giant obsidian. I broke open the obsidian and got the item I was here for this whole time, the Lamp of Cinders. With the Lamp of Cinders, I finally had all of the items I needed to make the golden scarab. With this scarab, I could build a portal and, like I had done with the Twilight Rock, throw it in to unlock the Atomb. Unfortunately though, exploring the Atomb would have to wait for the next episode.